in the heart of a dense and peaceful forest, where sunlight filtered softly through the tall trees and birds filled the air with gentle melodies, lived a clever fox named Zura. Zura was known throughout the forest for his sharp mind, quick instincts, and ability to observe things others ignored. While the other animals feared hunters and humans, Zura studied them. He watched their habits, their movements, and their strange behaviors. And more importantly, he understood truth and deception better than any creature around. One warm morning, as the golden rays of dawn brushed across the leaves, Zura wandered near the edge of the forest, where humans visited from time to time. What he saw that day would unravel an extraordinary story, the story now known as the Fox and the Fake Saint. As Zura approached an old stone platform near a small shrine, he noticed a man dressed in patched, dusty robes. The man looked outwardly humble, head lowered, hands clasped in prayer, eyes shut tight as though deeply lost in worship. At first glance, the man seemed to be a saint, a holy figure who dedicated his life to prayer. And as soon as the last traveler disappeared from view, he dropped his hands, yawned lazily, stretched his legs, and lay back down comfortably. Zara whispered to himself, "So, he prays only when people are watching. Not for Allah, not from sincerity, simply for show." The fox had seen many things in his life, but hypocrisy disgusted him the most. Pretending to be righteous for respect, for admiration, for worldly praise, this was a kind of dishonesty he could not ignore. And as he watched the man pretend again and again, a plan slowly formed inside his clever mind. The next day Zara returned, and there, once again, sat the same man on the stone platform, pretending to pray loudly when travelers passed by, then relaxing like a king as soon as he believed he was alone. Zara's tail flicked with irritation. "A fake saint, trying to fool the world," he muttered. "But lies do not live long." For a moment, the fox considered leaving. After all, humans deceived each other often. Why would he interfere? But something about the man's false piety made Zara feel that the truth must be revealed. Not just for justice, but as a lesson for all who pretended to be something they were not. So, Zara began quietly observing the man's routine. He learned exactly when visitors passed, how the man behaved, how he adjusted his robe to look more humble, how he deliberately placed ashes on his forehead to appear pious, and how he sighed dramatically when people dropped coins or food near him. Zara noticed a pattern. Every morning, a group of villagers crossed a forest path to reach a nearby market. Every time they approached, the man sat up straight, folded his hands, closed his eyes tightly, and began praying with a loud voice. "O Almighty, guide me, bless me, protect me." His words were loud enough to make sure everyone heard. The villagers admired him, believing him to be a noble, spiritual figure. Many offered him fruits, bread, or coins, and every time they left, he smirked and muttered, "Fools, they believe anything." This single sentence burned in Zara's mind like fire. The fox knew hypocrisy when he saw it, but mocking the sincerity of others irritated him beyond measure. That night, under the soft glow of the moon, Zara decided it was time to expose the truth, time to show the villagers the reality behind the man they believed was a saint. The next morning, Zara set his plan into motion. He waited behind the bushes as the fake saint climbed the platform once again. With practiced motion, the man adjusted his robe, placed ashes on his forehead, and sat in his usual pretentious posture. The villagers gasped in shock, and the fake saint nearly fell backward. Zerah stood in front of him with calm confidence. The man trembled, unsure of what the fox intended to do. The fox looked straight into the man's eyes and spoke loudly enough for all to hear. "Oh, holy man, why do you pray only when people are watching? Why do you raise your voice only when footsteps approach? Why do you sleep when you think you're alone?" The man's face turned pale. The villagers stared at him in surprise, confusion, and suspicion. Zerah continued, "If your hearts were truly pure, your prayers would remain strong even when no eyes were upon you. Sincerity is hidden, not performed." The villagers murmured among themselves. They had never questioned the saint before. But a fox exposing a man in such detail, that meant something was wrong. The man's hand shook. He swallowed hard, trying to regain control. "How dare you speak to me like that?" he shouted. "I am a man of God." Zerah tilted his head, analyzing him with cool intelligence. A man of God does not pretend. A man of God does not act. A man of God does not fear being exposed. The villagers stepped closer, now seeing the ashes on his forehead smeared unevenly, his robe arranged for dramatic effect, his posture stiff with fear, not devotion. One of the villagers whispered, "It is true. I have seen him sleeping during the day when no one is around." Another murmured, "He speaks loudly only when we come." And another said, "Is this man deceiving us for food and money?" The man's face turned red with humiliation. His lies were unraveling rapidly, each word of the fox peeling away his mask. Panicking, the fake saint tried to defend himself. "These are lies. This fox is trying to ruin my reputation." Zerah stepped closer, his voice sharp as a blade. "Truth does not fear exposure. Only lies do." The villagers stared at the man again. This time, they did not see a saint. They saw an actor, a performer, a man craving attention and generosity through deception. The false saint lowered his head in shame. He could not argue. He could not escape. The truth stood in front of him, undeniable and loud. One by one, the villagers walked away, refusing to offer him anything. The man rose slowly from the platform, no longer able to hold his head high. He stumbled away with trembling legs, his fake holiness shattered forever. Zerah watched him leave, his tail swaying calmly. He didn't chase him. He didn't gloat. He simply let the truth speak for itself. As the forest wind rustled through the leaves, Zerah whispered a lesson for all who were within earshot, and for all who would hear the story later. Do not pretend to be righteous. True goodness needs no audience. The villagers carried the story back to the town, sharing the tale of the clever fox who exposed the fake saint. It spread across villages, teaching people to be cautious, to look beyond appearances, and to remember that sincerity is silent, private, humble, and never performed for show. And deep in the forest, Zerah continued living his life with honesty and wisdom, knowing he had protected not just the villagers, but the sanctity of truth itself. This is why the tale of the fox and the fake saint remains a timeless reminder. Truth reveals itself, no matter how loudly lies try to hide it. For more powerful moral stories and life-changing lessons, make sure to visit the channel and watch the next inspiring video.